Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the Halios Fairwind. Price for this watch is $775 plus $25 to ship to the US. If you're in Canada, the shipping is free since this company is based in Canada. I believe they are based in the Vancouver area. These watches are very difficult to get a hold of. In fact, right now they are not accepting orders. I would say there's a wait list, but I'm not even sure if that's true. I think you just have to place your name in there and order it when they become available. So I actually purchased this watch secondhand, but it looks to be in very good condition. But if you do see some marks on it, it's because I purchased this watch secondhand. So I'm happy to finally have gotten a hold of this watch. I really do like this watch. The price is a little bit on the higher end for a micro brand, but it does have the Swiss movement, the SW200 movement. It's made with a sapphire crystal. This one does have the stainless steel bezel. This is not a bezel insert. From what I can tell, that's actually a solid stainless steel bezel. They do also offer this watch with a blue dial. This one is the slate gray. Then also you can get a sapphire diver bezel, and then also a sapphire, I'm not sure what they call the other bezel, but it has 1 through 12. And interesting with this watch, even though it's called a diver, it does have a bi-directional bezel, which I didn't realize. And I was messing around with it the other day to see if there was some back play on the bezel here, and actually turned it in the opposite direction. So that surprised me, but it does state that on the website. I obviously didn't read it very well. So before we get any further into the watch, let's take a quick look at the packaging. I might have to zoom out here. Maybe not. Yeah, let's zoom out. Hopefully we don't catch too much, well, random stuff in the background here. So anyway, you can tell I didn't prepare very well. Halios case here with the Halios symbol here engraved on the case, or stamped, I guess I should say. And here's the links that I had to remove. I actually removed all of the links, and it does just fit my 6.5-inch wrist. And they do have a note on their website stating if you have a 6.25-inch wrist and smaller or smaller than 6.25, this watch will not fit your wrist. So like I said, I have removed all the links. Just have them sitting in this case here. And the watch would sit here and it snaps in place. Looks like it has a place for an ink pen or pencil as well. So it's a very nice case. I'm not an expert on these kinds of things, but it feels very high quality to me. So anyway, let's get that back off to the side and we'll zoom back in. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is the slate gray with the stainless steel diver bezel. 316L stainless steel. 200 meter water resistant. And this is a screw down crown. Come on. Come on, focus. There, okay, there we go. So it does have the Halios logo there on the crown. And that is present on the dial as well, right below the word Halios. Now you can see here there is a ring. It's kind of a subset disc there, or subset surface. And the 12, 3, 6, and 9 indices do kind of overhang that surface. So that's a nice touch. It does have applied indices. And at the bottom you can see it says automatic. One little complaint of mine, but it kind of comes with the crystal, is you do get distortion around the perimeter here, but I mean that's to be expected because this is a box sapphire domed crystal. It does have AR coating. I like the look of it. It reminds me of vintage plexiglass watches, but it does give some distortion. But like I said, that comes with the territory. And hopefully you've noticed the blue, it's that blue, turquoise, light blue, whatever, tipped second hand there. If you get the blue dial, it comes with an orange tip on that second hand. As I stated earlier, if I were to purchase this watch new, I would have gone with the sapphire bezel insert, but I've actually come to appreciate stainless steel bezels now that I've had this watch. I normally don't like the look of stainless steel bezel. I would like a colored bezel insert. For example, my Zen U50, I went with U50T SDR because it has the black bezel. But if I were to do it over again, I would probably go with the entry-level U50 with the stainless steel bezel. But anyway, we're here today to talk about this watch. This is a 60-click bezel as well, which you may have noticed when I was playing around with it earlier. Bezel action is good. I don't have any complaints about it. It's not quite the same as the Tudor Black Bay 58, but that bezel action is out of this world. So maybe I'll compare this to that watch too. But yeah, I really do like this watch. The lugs are angled more steeply than any other watch I've had, at least that I remember. But it does fit well on wrist. It does have the female end links here, so the lug to lug is your true lug to lug. You don't have to worry about a protruding male end link here. So as I mentioned, this does have the Swiss SW200-1 movement. This is a no date movement. So when I unscrew the crown, first position will be hand winding. So right now I'm winding the movement, and the next position out will hack the movement. So that means the second hand stops. Then you can set the date, set the time. So you can see the case is a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces. You get a lot of light play out of this bracelet. Kind of reminds me of the Zenith Defy Classic. I have been looking at that watch too, but it's quite a bit more expensive than this watch. Actually, this watch would be 10% the cost of that Zenith Defy Classic on bracelet, at least the one I'm looking at with the skeleton dial. But anyway, it's a story for another day. Okay, so it does have Super Luminova C3 Lume. This watch size for my wrist weighs 126 grams. The website says it's 120 grams. I'm not sure how that is because I have all the links removed and I measured it. I weighed it at 126, size for my 6.5 inch wrist. So lug to lug, we're looking at 47.7. The bezel diameter, I measured it at 38.6. I think on their website it says 39 millimeter. Sorry about that. The case does angle down here, so I didn't have much luck measuring the case diameter. So just keep in mind the case is smaller than the bezel width here. So it wears very comfortably on my wrist. The thickness, I measured it at 12.7. And lug width is 20, and it tapers down to 16, which I really do like. I like it when it tapers down to 16. So 20 down to 16, and then say 22 down to 18. Looks good and feels good on wrist. So let's take a look at the bracelet since we're here. It does have solid end links and solid links. Has a milled clasp. Both of these portions appear to be milled. Works very well, nice and secure. There is a bit of a gap here though. I would like it a little better if it didn't have such a large gap. I'm not sure why that is, but this bracelet will not hit the clasp there like that. And you may notice there are no holes here for a micro adjust. And that's because it has this pretty slick micro adjustment system. You can see right here, right there on the clasp, you see those little notches there, and you can push this in to tighten it. You may have heard it clicking there. And to expand the bracelet or loosen it, you press this here. So that's very neat. I have not seen any other watch that has this where you can push a button on the clasp to release or loosen the bracelet, and then you can just push it in without pushing the button. So that's very slick. And I don't think if you were to push this down on a surface, oh, take that back. So if you were to push this down on a surface, it looks like you could potentially pull the bracelet out. So just keep that in mind. But I try really hard not to rest the clasp on anything because I don't want to scratch it up. And it's just a simple case back to say 20 ATA. I'm not sure what ATA means. If you know, put it in the comments. Usually I see ATM, which is 20 atmosphere, or bar, BAR. Anyway, Fairwind automatic is what it says on the rest of the case back here. Not sure what that is in the middle. Perhaps that's a serial number. I just now noticed that. So that could very likely be the serial number. Oh yeah, crown size is 6.4 millimeter. I think it looks very good on this case. I like how the mid case here tapers up. It looks a lot thinner than that 12.7 millimeter, and that's pretty thin already anyway. All right, so I think I covered everything in my notes here. Let's take a quick look at it compared to my Seiko SKX. It is a smaller watch, and it clearly looks smaller. That is one benefit, I guess, to a stainless steel bezel, is it makes the watch look smaller. Definitely makes the dial, maybe not the dial, but the watch overall looks smaller with a matching stainless steel bezel. Take a quick look at the thickness here. Yeah, the SKX looks huge compared to this watch, but lug to lug is actually a little bit smaller on the SKX. It just looks chunkier, at least from that view. Let's look at the back side of the case. There we go. Try and balance that over here. Yeah, and actually the SKX is a little thicker. It's about 13.5 millimeter. And that makes sense because I would say 2 to 3 millimeters, maybe 2 millimeter of this diameter is due to that domed crystal here. So let me get this on wrist, and then we'll close it out with the lume shot. Compare it to the SKX over here. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Like the video if you like it, and leave a comment below. Sorry, I need to let this out a little bit. Couldn't figure out why it was too tight. And then I remembered I was playing around with that micro adjust to show you guys how it worked. I have tried to just push this while on wrist, but it just expands all the way out. It doesn't just go one click. Yeah, so anyway, that will work for showing you on my wrist here. And you can see the light play on this bracelet. It's pretty neat. I mean, it's not really polished, but the brushing with the way it reflects the light, I really like how that looks. I need to decide if I'm keeping this watch or not. I would like to keep it, but I just can't keep them all. I have way too many. So buy, presentation, sell, rinse, repeat. So anyway, let's zoom out here. Sorry, I'm still admiring this watch. Again, got some stuff in the background. Sorry about that. I think it looks great on my wrist. I might have to compare this to my Seiko 62 Moss, perhaps. I don't know. they don't look alike, but they kind of remind me of each other in a way. I think maybe it's the indices. So anyway, I'll pause the video and we'll come right back with the loom. All right, so obviously on the left, the Halios Fairwind, and on the right, the Seiko SKX 009. Yeah, C3 loom on the Halios is very good. It's actually brighter than my SKX with the Seiko Lumibright, which is interesting because the loom on the hands of the Halios are thinner than the SKX, but right now it's brighter by eye and brighter on camera. And I like how the second hand is tipped with loom as well. And it's actually on the pointy end of the second hand versus the back end of the second hand like the SKX over here. So anyway, that will conclude today's video. As always, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.